On this episode, don't project stories. Hey everybody, this is the Quarter Show. So we're going to be talking about not projecting stories, and in sales, obviously we know. Don't want to shake the table too much here. In sales, we know you don't want to project stories. In that, it's easy to when you run into a cycle where you're selling a prospect and you're working on closing a deal, and let's say they're sort of out of communication with you to some degree. They're not responding to your email, not responding to phone calls, and as a salesperson, you can sort of run into this idea where it's like you start having a concern or start making up stories for what they're doing, and you start thinking like, you know what, they're probably traveling right now, and John said he's having a very busy week, and he's probably tied up with finance, and this is happening and that's happening, and they have a lot of stress going on right now, and by the time it's all said and done, you've made up an entire story for the prospect. You made up an entire story for where they are, why it's not going, why they haven't called you back, why they haven't looked at your proposal, why they haven't signed the proposal, why they haven't gotten approval, why they haven't taken it so on and on and on and on. You literally make up stories for it. And we're all guilty of it. We've all done it. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And the thing to do is to not do it. You don't know. You don't have a glass ball to look into. And it becomes an excuse.
That's the thing. All it does is give you a reason not to act.
Yeah.
It gives you a reason to sit back on your heels and wait. It gives you just reasons to not get it done.
Reasons to not get it done.
But you got somebody like Robert coming to somebody like me and going, so where's this deal at? Well, it must be that, right? And you start to invent ideas. You get pressure on yourself as a salesperson, whether it's internal or external, whatever you're getting. You get pressure, and the tendency is to immediately invent. Because what's happened prior to the invention is a lack of confront has happened. As a salesperson, if I let down and I go and I don't handle the prospect, I hear an objection and don't deal with it on the spot, then I have failed to what we call at Richter at least confront, which is just to face it, to own up to it and face it and deal with it. And so when I fail at that, then I get asked a question, where's the deal at? And I have to invent because I've let it go.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't care how good you are. We're all susceptible to this. We're all guilty of it, and it's a dangerous thing to do in sales, because then you've created a reason that you're now good with, and you just bought it, hook, line, and sinker. You just sold yourself on the reason, and then it becomes an excuse, and then you don't take any action. You're like, well, you know what? I'm going to give him some space. I'm going to give him 3 days, or whatever, right? You're going to do something because you just made up a whole story. Like, he's out fishing, and he said he's on vacation, and he's been traveling, so he's probably on a boat right now. And I don't want to disturb him on the boat because I know how that is. I know how I like to be on boats. And it's this whole thing that we do because look, sales is a very creative gig. It's a very creative job, and we're susceptible to making up stories and inventing different things because the truth is that we don't want to take action and do what we really should be doing.
Because here's my alternative.
Yeah.
My alternative is to say to Robert, well, where's the deal at? The thing I actually have to do is say to him, for example, he said he needed to take it to his CEO. And then, of course, the next question is, have you gone to the CEO? So if I haven't seen it, then I haven't done it. That's the reason I've invented, is because I haven't done the steps that I know are necessary to get a job done. So I'm going to have to say, he said he was going to take it to the CEO. I have not gone to the CEO yet. My next steps are to find the CEO, find his number, call him. If I get a voicemail, leave a message, introduce myself, and make sure he knows that the proposal should be there. Follow up with an email, and work to sell the person I know is the decision maker. And or whatever it is, wherever you drop, if you're a salesperson watching this, wherever you dropped the ball is where the truth lies.
Wherever you drop the ball is where the truth lies.
And invention of what a prospect is thinking comes after your own deception, whether of yourself or of your boss or whatever. So the only way out, the only way to get that deal done, instead of leave it to the ether to handle it for you and let the world turn long enough until they magically sign off, is to go, cool. So what I did is, he said he wanted to think about it, which is like the weakest objection you can possibly imagine. And it was such a pleasant conversation that I let it go. And so obviously I haven't sold him enough. I haven't sent him the testimonials yet. I haven't sent him the success stories page. I haven't followed up with him. And that's the truth. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do those actions. And Robert would go, okay, go get it done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and the thing is, so you deceive yourself. You make up a story that you then buy, and then you don't take the action which you should be doing in sales, which is like going in and not making up a story, but starting from a blank canvas and saying, I don't know what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what we're saying. I'm just going to take action and keep going. So, but what you need to look at what you do know. What you do know is, I'm not in communication with John. John hasn't looked at the proposal. John's not signed the proposal. The deal's not done. Something's wrong. Somewhere along the line, this is like sort of off the track to some degree, right? Greater or lesser. And
that's true. It's not always that you've dropped a ball. It's that sometimes they're like, cool, send another proposal, I'm going to sign off, and they haven't. Mm-hmm. And then you start to invent reasons why they haven't. Good point. Yeah, that's true. There's more than one reason.
You go into screenwriter mode, right? You go into screenwriter mode, you go, I'm going to invent a story, start coming up with it.
He's probably going to the CEO. He probably tried to set an appointment and didn't get it in, and went to accounting, and they probably brushed him off. He probably had to go to legal, too, to get the proposal looked at.
It's probably with legal.
Yeah.
It's probably with legal. Legal's probably looking at it right now. They're on the phone. I don't want to call it legal because they're busy right now. They're probably reading through all the different stuff.
I've already called Chucky twice today. He didn't pick up.
Yeah, and he didn't pick up, so he's probably talking to Sally, and they're, and you know what? It's East Coast, and they're at the end of their day right now.
End of day, right?
End of day, so they're probably like rush hour traffic. Look, we've all done it. You know what I'm talking about. And, don't do all that. When you get into that mode, just cut yourself off and just be like, you know what? I don't know. Here's what I know, and here's what I don't know. That's what you have. You have
he liked it. I sent the proposal. He's looked at the proposal. End of facts.
End of facts, right? And you have to look at it. You have to just look at it from there and then write down a next action and go and take that action to figure out what that is. Right, without inventing the stories and without coming up with some extra storyline that really is just made up by you. It's not actually real. It's just you just made it up. And so when you look at it, then you're like, okay, here's my next action. I'm going to go take that action and go and do it and really dig in here. And by not making up a story, it forces in more action, which is really what you need. More emotion, more action, more doingness on your cycle. And if you make up stories and you start creating, inventing a story for the prospect, it actually, the net effect is that you have less action, you have less motion happening, and less things happening on your cycle, and so you start to let off the gas and back off, and next thing you know, you've completely lost it.
Yeah, and here's what's a funny one is, and I'm sure if any salesperson watching this has experienced this, and this is a bummer, but this is the truth. Is the guy, I love it, send over a proposal, etc., you send it over, and then nothing happens, and so you start to invent all these things, and what you find out is your prospect, whether he's great or whatever, did nothing. Yeah. You've invented a story about how the CEO probably didn't like it, and God, you should have gone to the CEO, and you should have done this, and who knows what happened. But nothing is actually
Nothing's happening.
Nothing at all. So
nothing's changed. But here you are, and you've wrote a whole
Shakespeare.
You wrote Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
Like by the time you're done,
Sales Macbeth.
Macbeth happened.
Oh yeah. Everybody's dead over there, probably. They all poisoned themselves and fell on graves. And
better move on to the next prospect.
There's nobody left to sell over there.
So, look, moral of the story, just stop.
Cut the bull.
Cut the bull, right? Cut the bull. Get down to it. Be real with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Only assess where it's actually at, what you actually know. Don't make up anything you don't know, and go take action against what you know and what you know to be next, instead of coming up with different storylines and different things that are really just going to deceive you, and they're really just going to lengthen your deal, short your deal, or kill your deal. Okay, we'll have more coming at you soon. Follow us on Twitter, hashtag The Quarter Show, ask questions. I think we're going to start doing a little separate segment on asking questions. We're going to do the episodes, and then we're going to do a little Q&A, sort of QA tidbit show type things to address specific questions that come up. And things like that. And we're actually streaming right now on Periscope as well, so don't forget to follow us on Periscope. I'm probably going to set up the quarter show on Periscope and get that going. Right now it's under my name, but so we're trying that out, kind of get that going there as well. Cool. Thanks for watching. We'll have more coming at you soon.